In this video, we are going through the top submachine guns that fit into the short range meta category. These are the guns you need to be using for those close encounters in Warzone at this moment in time. So this list is in no particular order, but there is a clear winner when it comes to the short range meta, and that is going to be the Marco 5. So starting with the Marco, we're going to go for the recoil booster in the muzzle slot. Now with the barrel, we're going to go for the Perfetto for the movement speed, but if you find yourself wanting a more accurate barrel with a little bit more bullet velocity, you could go for the Armaguerra 342, but we're going to choose the Perfetto for this build. Optic is going to be down to personal preference, but we're going to go for the slate reflector. On the stock option, we're going to go for the Armaguerra FR. This is a hybrid between the two. You're going to get the recoil control and you're going to get the movement speed. The folding is going to give you movement speed. The Perfetto is going to give you recoil control, but the Armaguerra is a nice hybrid in the middle. For the underbarrel slot, this is going to be down to how you manage your recoil. We're going to start off with the skeletal, but if you're finding yourself struggling, you can put on the carver, the strife angled, or the hand stop. You should always build these classes out for your personal preference and comfort over the general meta chaser build, but the skeletal is going to be the meta one, but if you find yourself struggling, chuck on any of the other three. Now the magazine type is going to depend on what game mode you like to play. If you like your solos, you can pretty much use whichever one you want, but if you do like your duos, your trios and your quads, it's either going to be the 64 or the 48. Now the 64, you get recoil control and you get 64 bullets in the drum, but you are going to take away a lot of bullet penetration, velocity and movement speed, so it's probably best to go for the 48 round drum. Again, if you're struggling with the recoil or you feel like you're running out of bullets, go for the 64, but the 48 is going to be for the meta build. Ammunition type is going to be again down to your personal preference. Lengthen is going to be good. Hollow point is going to be very good because you're going to get additional limb damage. It is going to take away some damage range, but of course these are short range meta options. You could use pretty much any one of the lengthened, subsonic or hollowed point. I personally like to go for subsonic to stay off the minimap, but for the sake of building the best meta class possible, we're going to go for hollow point. All depends on your personal preference. Rear grip is going to be the taped grip. This is going to help you with aiming, stability and that movement speed, just to make you feel like you're absolutely floating around the map. In perk 1, we're going to go for frenzy. This is going to help you with health regeneration after you get a kill. You could use momentum if you wanted some move speed after the kill as well, but when you weigh up movement speed or health regeneration after the kill, the regen seems way too good not to be using. In the perk 2 slot, we're either going to go for quick or fully loaded. If you feel like you're running out of a lot of bullets, go for fully loaded, but if you're playing something like Fortune's Keep, there's so many little munitions box you can pick up. Fully loaded is going to be a little bit of a waste of time, so that is why quick is going on. Now moving on to the second gun, we are of course going for the H4 Blixen. We're going to put the recoil booster in the muzzle slot. The barrel is going to be the Bergstrom 17-inch. This is just going to give us that extra bullet velocity, recoil control and accuracy when we're firing this gun. The optic is going to be down to personal preference again, but we're going for the slate reflector. Now we all know with short range gunfights, movement speed is absolutely everything, so to help out with that, we're going for the removed stock. In the underbarrel slot, again, we're going for the skeletal as standard, but if you're struggling with the recoil, chuck on the carver, the strife angled, or the hand stop. The magazine is going to be the 54 round mags. Now this is kind of makes sense if you are playing your duos, your trios and your quads. It's going to give you recoil control and accuracy. It's going to give you extra headshot damage and some ADS speed and stuff like that. It is going to take away bullet velocity, range and bullet penetration. Again, we're not going to worry too much about them just because of how close we should be using these guns. If you're using it over a longer distance, you should be using your assault rifle anyway, so we're not going to worry about the bullet velocity too much. In the ammunition slot, like we said, lengthened, subsonic or hollow point, we're going to go for hollow point just to have the best meta build as possible. The rear grip again is going to be the taped grip just for that movement speed. In the perks, we're going to go for fleet. This is going to give you weapon swap quickness and movement speed. And then in perk 2, again, we're going to go for quick because we shouldn't really be worrying about the bullets that much. Onto the third gun in the short range meta, we're going to go for the Armaguerra 43. Again, recoil booster in the muzzle slot. The barrel is going to be the Botti 570. This is going to give you the best bullet velocity and accuracy when you're using this gun. Optic again is going to be personal preference, but slate reflector. The stock is going to be the folding with the Armaguerra. This is going to give you that best movement speed and the sprint to fire speed. We don't have a remove stock option on the Armaguerra. If you are struggling with recoil control, you could go for the Botti DA, but the folding is going to be the best one in general to help you move as fast as you can. The underbarrel again is going to be skeletal, like we've said all along. If you're struggling, chuck on the Carver, the Strife, or the hand stop. In the magazine slot, we're going to go for the 60 round mags. If you look at all of the other cons on the other magazines, they do take away recoil control, fire rate, damage range, all stuff like that. The cons on the 60 round mags aren't that bad. They just take away some ADS and movement speed, but we've made up for that for all of the different types of barrels and the stocks we've put on it, so we're not going to worry about that too much. The rear grip is again going to be taped grip. It's so good at helping with that movement speed. Definitely worth using. In the perk 1 slot, we're going to go for hard scope. This is going to help us with recoil control. You could also use something like vital, but it's not really going to be worth it. Hard scope is going to be so much better. And then again, perk 2, we're going to go for either fully loaded or quick. If you are struggling with ammo, go for fully loaded. Quick is going to be the best option if you are chasing the meta. Now onto the fourth gun, we're going to go for the Type 100. Now there's two different Type 100 builds. You have the more aggressive build and you have the more versatile build. This is going to be the aggressive build. This is going to be the very short range because we're going to use the rapid fire barrel. The recoil booster is going in the muzzle slot. Now like we just said, the barrel is going to be, I cannot pronounce that, the rapid barrel. We're going to go for the rapid barrel in the barrel slot. Again, optics going to be the slate reflector. We've got loads of options in the stock slot. We're going to go for the folding just to help out with the aim walking speed and initial firing recoil control. In the underbarrel slot, again, we are going to go for the skeletal. Like I've said all along, if you're struggling with the recoil, build it for comfort over meta. Go for the Carver, go for the hand stop, go for the Strife angled. Now the magazine again is going to kind of decide how you want to use this gun. You can slow it down by using a 48 round. It's going to take away some fire rate, but it is going to give you some damage range and damage, or you go full on aggressive mode. This is going to be the 36 round option. This is going to give you damage range, damage, bullet penetration, and bullet velocity. It's going to take away some fire rate, but we've made up for that with the rapid fire barrel, so that doesn't matter too much. Again, ammunition is either going to be subsonic, lengthened, or hollow point. For the sake of the video, just because we've done it on every one, we'll go for hollow point, but I might run the subsonic on the Type 100 if I'm getting very, very up close and personal with the enemies. You want to stay off the minimap, but we'll go for hollow point. On this one, the rear grip again is going to be the taped grip, the best overall rear grip to be using at the moment. This is just going to help you with your movement speed, your weapon swap, your sprint to fire, all that good stuff. In the perk 1 slot, you have free range again. Here you can go acrobatic, you can go sleight of hand, you could go vital and marked. Personally, I'm going to go with acrobatic to help out with movement speed and sprinting movement speed. And then finally, in the perk 2 slot, just like we've been saying all along, you can either go quick or fully loaded. Fully loaded if you want your bullets, quick if you're fine on your bullets and you want to run as fast as you can. So like we said guys, this is going to be the fastest possible, most aggressive Type 100 build. If you do want to mix it up and you do want to kind of tame this gun down, you could change the barrel out for the 374 Shiraishi, I think that's how you say that. You could put it on the T100 stock, that's going to help you with your recoil control. And then again, you could put on something else like the Strife angle to help with horizontal recoil control. This is going to be the more tamed version of the Type 100. It's not going to be as fast, but it's going to be a little bit easier to use. So there's two different options, two different ways you can build out the Type 100. You can go full aggression, or you can go a little bit more versatile, a little bit easier to use, but the TTK won't be as fast. So decide that for yourselves guys, choose whichever one you prefer. Personally, I would probably go for the slower version of the Type 100 if I wanted to use it, but you have the aggressive build in the video as well. Now in 5th and by no means final place, we could have done the Sten, we could have done the well gun, we could have done a wide variety of things, but overall usability we are going to go for, of course, the MP40. You've probably seen this build 1,000 million septillion times, but it's very, very good. It's a household name and it's reliable. It's very, very reliable. It's a good place to start, especially if you're new to Warzone. This build is going to be a very, very good place to start. Recoil booster is going in the muzzle slot. Now in the barrel slot, people will tell you to use the short barrel, but it does take away headshot damage, which can't be that good. Not just for that reason, but just building this gun for purely comfort over meta, I'm going to go for the 317. It's going to help you make this gun a bit more accurate, reduce some scope sway as well. It's going to take away some sprint to fire time, of course, and it is going to take away some hip fire accuracy. Not that I hip fire with the MP40 that much, but this is a good example of just building these guns out for how you prefer to play. The short is going to be the meta chaser, but the Krausnik 317 is just feels so much more comfortable than the short barrel. And again, this is going to be slightly different to what you would normally see. You could go for the slate reflector. That's going to be the overall most popular option. But for me, it's going to be the Krausnik ISO 1M. The reason for that is we did play a lot of ranked play over on Vanguard for a while, and that's one of the best iron sights to be using. So try it out. If you want to run the safe option with the slate reflector, go for that. But personally, this is what I prefer on the MP40. Any other gun, I'd run the slate reflector, but I just like it. So obviously build these for how you like it. The stock is going to be the folding Krausnik. It's going to help you with sprint to fire time and movement speed. The underbarrel again is going to be how you prefer. This time I would stray away from the skeletal just because you want to have the most recoil control you can, because this is kind of the build we're going for on this MP40. It might not be the full-on meta chaser, but it's going to be super easy to use. So we're going to go for the hand stop to help out with the vertical and horizontal recoil control. The magazine is going to be the 45 round Gorenko. It's going to give you that fire rate, recoil control, movement speed. It is going to kind of nerf the gun's damage a little bit. It's going to take away some bullet velocity, but again, we're going to be so close, it's not going to matter. To make up for that bullet velocity, you could put on the lengthened ammunition. Again, it's all about mixing and matching, building these how you want to. The rear grip, again, there is no argument here. It's going to be the taped grip, aiming stability, movement speed, weapon swap, sprint to fire, all of that good stuff on there. In the perk 1 slot, we're going to go for momentum, move speed after kills. You could go for brace if you're struggling with the initial recoil if you want to stay off the map. Position concealment with unmarked would also be very good, but momentum, move speed after kills is so good. And then perk 2, again, you're either fighting between quick or you're fighting between fully loaded. Quick for the meta build. And there we go, guys. Those are the top 5 weapons I would suggest, or the top 5 submachine guns I would suggest using if you want to hit that short range or close range meta. If you enjoyed that video or you found it helpful, guys, let me know by dropping a like on it down below. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so big love to anyone who leaves a like or a comment on the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for staying tuned. As always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, how-tos, class setups, and much more.